Hello everybody, it's Tag Tuesday and we're back for another round. This is another old tag, like old as in I was tagged a while back, like towards the beginning of the year, maybe back in January. I was tagged by Joe and Mary over at Book Buds, and the original tag was created by Nicole over at Nicole's Bookish Nook. I will include their information, their channels, and their videos in the description so you can enjoy those as well. Now, this is the Rock On Rap Songs Booktube tag. And this one is pretty cool, a little bit different. And once again, this is another book-related Booktube tag. So we will be able to pick out some books. And I have some of them. Some of them are from before as part of the answers. And I'll just, post them over here so you can see them. But the way that this Booktube tag works is you have themes for each of the prompts. And the themes are songs that represent the idea behind the prompt. And you can pick the books that fit the prompt, right? So I'm going to try something, and hopefully this will work out well. And if it does, then we'll just be happy. And if it doesn't, then you won't know what I was trying to do, and you will just enjoy the video as it is. So we're going to give it a try. So starting off, the first one, excuse me. They said Jay-Z, but I didn't want to do the Jay-Z song. It's A Hard Knock Life. And they said by Jay-Z, but I'm choosing the one done by Charles Strouse and Martin Charnin. These are the original writers. Charles Strouse wrote the music, and Charnin actually wrote the lyrics. So Orphan Annie's song, It's a Hard Knock Life. And the theme is a book about an orphanage, a poor family, or an orphan. And I picked two different books for this particular one. Now, first I choose The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. And this story is about a family that lives in poverty. But the irony behind this is that they live in poverty on purpose. And so the mother and father, it's a complete family. They're all together, 2 parents and 3 offspring. And this is told, I think this is the protagonist is the author herself. And I believe she is the middle child, I believe. I can't remember, but I think she's the middle child. And the story is told from her perspective. And it seems like all the children left and became productive and had prosperous lives. But the parents, even after the kids had moved away to New York, the parents followed them to New York, but continued to live in poverty by choice. They were living on the street. And so, yes, the story is about her life growing up, being raised by very adamantly founded parents and their weird way of raising the kids in poverty on purpose. Now, they had opportunity for, great prosperity and wealth. They've owned land, but they always, strayed away from it. They never explained why. And the mother was worse than the father. And the father was a bit of a drunkard. So that's the first one. The second one is actually No Ocean Too Wide. And that is by Carrie Taransky. And this story is a story about orphans that were shipped to Canada, from Canada, British children being shipped to Canada for the purpose of slavery. And the story encompasses around two siblings, a brother and a sister who end up getting split apart, and how they are able to come back together. All right, prompt number 2. This is Walk This Way by Aerosmith. Now, we also know that, wow, right? Run DMC. Now, the theme behind this one is a favorite book of yours that blends genres. And as you guys know, Aerosmith wrote this song, but then they did a collab, came back and did a collab with Run DMC. And so they actually, there's 2 versions of this song. One of them is a rap version and one of them is a rock version. But Run DMC did a lot of collabs like this where they used rock music and rap music. So if you guys, most of you guys are going to remember this anyway. But for those who don't know, there's 2 different songs. They did pick the one that says Aerosmith. So Walk This Way by Aerosmith. And like I said, they have 2 versions, one where they're by themselves and one where they're with Run DMC. And so what I did was I picked Faded Blades. Faded Blades by Ilona Andrews. Now, this story is a romance, sci-fi, and fantasy mixed in one. And a little bit of adventure too as well. I believe adventure is also considered a genre as well. So yes, so romance, fantasy, sci-fi, and adventure in one book, and it's an easy book to read. So yes, I choose Faded Blades by Ilona Andrews. Okay, prompt number 3 is Just Lose It by Eminem.
Right now, lose it.
And some of these songs, I'll be honest with you, that's number 3. The first 2 I know about. I'm not, even though I do like to listen to rap, I'm old school. And though Eminem goes back a little ways, I'm not a big listener. So there's two rap songs on here that I'm just not familiar with. So anyway, it's Just Lose It by Eminem. And the prompt behind that one is a book you think is funny or ridiculous, excuse me, in a bad way. And I have chosen Blackbird House by Alice Hoffman. Now this book was so promising. And it was one of these stories, and I've talked about this book before. It was a story that was written around a house. It was written around a house. And the house was the main protagonist. And it seemed like it would have been a great theme or a nice trope for a book and for a novel. And it turned out to be very, very poorly done. And I was really upset with it because I was hoping for so much more. And it was just kind of ridiculous. It was more like, the book could have been written in bullet statements and would have been just as effective as it was in a novel form. So, and yeah, my rating for that book is actually on my Goodreads profile. So if you want to know anything more about it, you can see more and read more about it there. Prompt number 4 is Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Now the theme behind this one is a book that shocked you in a good or bad way. And I am going with Grimoire Noir. Now this is a graphic novel, but I promise you it exceeded expectations on every level. Story, narrative, the book binding itself, the graphic illustrations. It is my all-time favorite 5-star book. Enough said. All right, so number 5 is Welcome to the Jungle by AC/DC. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses. Now, ironically, I grew up during, Dr. Dre days and the NWA and, Kool Moe Dee and, all these, rappers, Grandmaster Funk and lots of rappers from way back in the day. But I was also a fan of some nice, it was heavy metal back then, but I think it almost might be considered as classic rock now. But yeah, a little Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, some Def Leppard, some Twisted Sister, plenty of that. So yes, Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. The theme or prompt behind this one is a book about LA or a book that takes place in or around LA. And I chose Super. This is the Super written by Gimmie. I hope I pronounced that right. It's Lehrer. Lehrer. And this is the story, I just recently talked about this about a couple of months back. This was the Super Chief Railroad that did these routine trips back and forth between Illinois and Los Angeles. And it was, most of the people that were acting in Hollywood lived in Chicago, Illinois. And so this train would just regularly go back and forth. And it was known as the Train of the Stars. And so there is a murder that takes place. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to tell you too much, but there's multiple dead people on this train. So different cases, different murders, and they're not necessarily linked to each other either. So yeah, traumatized celebrities, right? That was number 5. So number 6, Gimme All Your Lovin' by ZZ Top. Now ZZ Top was a big popular band, kind of a funky rock band. I just loved it. They drove hot rods on all their videos. Yeah, Legs was one of them. It's a great video, really good video. Gimme All Your Lovin' by ZZ Top. The prompt is your favorite romance book. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't do romance. But, however, I have a book for this one. And that was A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. If you don't do romance, you can very easily do Nicholas Sparks. He is a male romance author. And I'll tell you what, his stories are great. I can actually cope with those. This isn't no Harlequin romance type writer. This is some really quality work. And A Walk to Remember is actually, it's a story about a young man who, the story is about him getting involved. Now, this is the smart guy, one of the book nerds, one of the intelligent-minded children in the school that don't necessarily get the girls. Well, this one gets the girl, and it's a love story between him and her, and them finishing school, and yeah, the relationship that grows from there, and how the young man grows into being a young man based off of the love relationship. So yeah, good book. A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. Next one, prompt number 7. Fight for your right to party. Yes. Right. Beastie Boys. So this is a book centered around a celebration. And I just recently finished this book. Did I talk about it? I think I talked about it a little bit. It's a Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookstore by Emmeline Duncan. And the celebration is a Halloween festival. So, yes. A young lady ends up coming back to her hometown where she graduated from school and inherits her grandfather. She comes home to take over the family bookstore, and she ends up hosting a Halloween festival. Well, let me correct that. The town has an annual Halloween festival celebration. Yes, and what they call fair, Halloween fair. They have a Halloween fair. It lasts like about a week long. But she came back and she added on, because she's the owner of the bookstore, she added on a literary festival at the beginning. She used that to launch the Halloween fair celebration. So she was put in charge of a lot of the events and all the organizations. The whole town dresses up, the shops, the stores, everything. So that's a pretty good book. It was a very good write. The Murderer, it's a murder mystery. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I honestly think that you won't be able to figure out who the murderer is before the book is out. It'll almost shock you, and it's in the last couple of chapters. It's in the last chapter too. So it's like right at the end of the book, they reveal who the killer is. So, but there's a lot of drama going on, a lot of twisted stuff, because her mom, her grandfather, her mom's former boyfriends getting involved, a couple of other guys that graduated from the same high school getting, everybody has history. Everybody has history. So that was a pretty good story. Prompt number 8 is Firestarter by Prodigy. Now, I remember this wasn't one of my favorite songs. I believe it's considered a rock song. Don't know what genre of rock, but yeah, heavy metal or something, grunge or something. But yes, Firestarter by Prodigy, and the trope behind that one is a book that has fire in the title or has an orange or red cover. And I chose Select Fire by Don Pendleton. And I don't remember much of this because this was a long time ago that I wrote this one. I think like 2018 I read this book. But it's a case story about, and it's a part of a series. So Max Bond, I think, is the name of the main character, something like that. Max Bond. So long ago. But he has a series called Max the Executioner is the name of the character. That's his trope. And this particular story was called Select Fire. And I can't remember much about that story. Sorry. And then you have the last one, number 9, Humble by Kendrick Lamar. Now this one I absolutely know nothing about, especially most of these most recent, popular within the last 5 to 10 year rappers. Just not my kind of music. But the theme behind this prompt is a book that left you stunned at the audacity of the main character or the writer. And let me tell you, man, it most definitely has to be We the Animals by Justin Torres. This was, in my opinion, it was just a declaration of how degraded poor parenting can be. So it surrounds the main character. The protagonist is the main character. He's also the author, talking about how he was, his childhood being, raised by this, completely hands-off parents that, it was such a bad book. And it was offensive. The language was excessive. And it was just complete degradation. I did not like that book. And the sad part about it is I picked this book up and read the blurb, and it has all these you know, astonished critics, talking about how good the book was. Oh my gosh, that book was such a letdown. And I like the word audacity in this prompt because it really felt like that. It really felt like that. And so, yeah. The second title, there's two on for this one too as well. The second title was The Front by Patricia Cornwell. Now, I love Patricia's, so I read a lot of her Scarpetta novels. Scarpetta is a cop, detective, whatever, and yeah, she has some great stories. But when she wrote The Front, she decided to try a different writing style, and it was just kind of a letdown. I was stunned because I was so unfamiliar. There was a lot of backpedaling. I would read it and I would have to turn back and say, did I miss something? And there was a whole lot of that. So there was a lot of incoherency with the book, and I was lost a lot of the times, and I did not find the normal reward from reading Patricia's writing. I just did not like that style. Fortunate, I don't think she continued with that writing style. I think that was like a standalone book she used that writing style in it, and it just did not work for her. And that book it stunned me because I have never had like a bad book from her. So, but that's it. Just 9 prompts. I am going to pick out some folks and put them into the doggone, the last, there is a prompt, the 10th prompt, tag people. So I'll tag a few. I'll put them in the descriptions. I want to thank you for joining me.